Okay, so this is recording set number 4. This is numbers 31 to 40. In question 31, it says, find the coordinates of the vertex for the parabola. Okay, obviously you can see we're very heavy on the vertex, and this is a concept that is tested on the SAT. F of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 2. And to find the vertex, we simply need to use negative b over 2a. And that gives us the x value of the parabola. So in this case, minus 2 over 2 times 1. So this gives us 1 for x. Now we need to find f of 1, which will give us the y for the parabola. So f of 1 means that I have 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 2. And this is going to give me 1 minus 2, which is equal to negative 3. And so it looks like of your solutions, answer choice D should be your answer for number 31. Now number 32, we can use a number line here. So solve the compound inequality other than no solution. Use the interval notation to express a solution and graph the solution on the number line. And so this is less than or equal to negative 21 less than or equal to negative 3x minus 3 less than or equal to negative 9. So for this one, what we want to do first is we're going to work on this equation to get negative 21 less than or equal to 3x minus 3 less than or equal to negative 9. So first step I would take is let's add that 3 to all three terms or all three sides of this equation. This gives us negative 18 is less than or equal to 3x less than or equal to negative 6. And our last step is to divide by 3 on all three terms. So divided by 3 on all three terms, you're going to get negative 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to negative 2. And so always read from the inequality. So as I look at the number line, here's your positive infinity, here's your negative infinity. If my x is in the center, here's negative 6, here's negative 2. I'm going to read this as from x out. So I'm going to start with x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So if I'm shading, x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So I'm going this way, and I'm also going to put a bracket there. And I'm also going to consider the fact that I'm going to now look at x is less than or equal to negative 2. If x is less than or equal to negative 2, then I'm coming this way on the number line. Remember, this is inclusive. So what I'm looking for in this case would have to be an inequality, and I'm looking at answer choice C as my final answer, whereas all of this is my answer. Okay. Number 33, the formula for converting Fahrenheit temperature F to Celsius temperature C is given by C is equal to 5 over 9 Fahrenheit minus 32. Keep in mind that this is also an SAT question. If Celsius temperatures range from negative 2 to 50 inclusive, meaning that it's equal to, what is the range for the Fahrenheit temperature? So if I'm looking at negative 20, so I'm going to start with negative 20 is equal to 5 over 9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. So that's going to give me the low end of the spectrum here. And I'm going to do 50 is equal to 5 over 9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. Now, the first thing I would do to keep things simple is I'm going to take both equations and I'm going to multiply them by 9 over 5 on both sides. And what's going to happen is it's going to help us solve for this quicker, because over here, if you notice, the 9 is going to cancel with this 9, the 5 will cancel with this 5, same thing on this side here, those cancel. And now we just simply do a little bit of math. 5 goes into negative 20, negative 4 times 9, negative 36 right now is equal to Fahrenheit minus 32, which if I add the 32 on both sides, I end up with Fahrenheit is equal to negative 4. Over here, 5 goes into 50 10 times, 9 is 90, is equal to Fahrenheit minus 32. If I add the 32 on both sides, I end up with 122. It looks like for number 33, the answer choice for 33 should be, looking at your answers and checking with the key, it should be B. It's exactly that. So remember to write it in interval notation, which is inclusive. So negative 4 comma 122. Again, these are in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. All right, number 34. On number 34, you want to determine if the relation is a function. Remember that for it to be a function, it has to pass the vertical line test. It has to pass, meaning that it cannot have any 2 points on the same value. So if I'm saying whether it's a function or if it's not a function, so I start with, I could either graph it or just look at the values. If I look at the values for number 34, I can see that this would be a function because you have negative 3 comma 2, you have 3 comma negative 1. It's negative 1. Let me erase that and put that, make that better. We have 4 7. We have 7 negative 5, and we have 11 4. All right, and so is this a function or not a function? I'm saying it is a function. I'm just looking at the values. Okay, so we have negative 3 2, 1 2 3 up 2. That's your negative 3 2. You have 3 negative 1, so 1 2 3 negative 1. We have 4 7, so let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 4 7 would be up here. We have 7, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, negative 5, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So we're about here. And we have 11 4. Well, 11 4 is going to be way out here. Not any one of these lines would fail the vertical line test. There's only 1 point there, only 1 point here, only 1 point here, only 1 point here, and when we do this one, only 1 point there. So yes, this is definitely a function. Answer choice A. Okay, number 35. Determine whether the equation defines y as a function of x. So remember, this is y squared is equal to 3x. If I'm solving for y, I'm going to end up y is equal to the square root of 3x, and the square root is always plus or minus. Again, this is number 35. And so in this case, it is not a function. Y is not a function of x. For it to be a function, you'd only have 1 to 1 in this case, or y to 2x's. It's fine. All right. Number 36, it says use the graph. Okay, so we're literally going to use the graph for this one. So if you look carefully, it says here, use the graph of the function to find any relative maxima or relative minima. And in this case, you could see that at -2, when x is -2, y is approximately what? I would say 18. Another minima would be sitting down here, where x is +2, and y in this case looks like it's -14, approximately. So the minimum of 2, -14, and a maximum of -2, 18. So I'm thinking answer choice D. So you're only looking at those two extreme points. So number 36 should be D. Remember, maxima minima is when you look at the graph, you're just looking at the highest and lowest point in this graph. And so focus on the x. In our case, this x was a +2, the y was -14, and in this case we have -2, +18. So this is number 36. Again, this answer choice should be D. All right. Now, number 37 should be no-brainer for you because we're looking at a slope. They're giving you 2 points, and you're just going to find the slope. My greatest concern for number 37 is your math acuity. Make sure you don't make a silly mistake. So now keep in mind it's the change of y over the change of x. So that means that you'll have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so for number 37, keep in mind that you have the same two x's. If this is x and y, x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, you can see right away these are the same two x's. So this is going to become, let's say I use the formula, so it'll become -4 minus 2 over 1/2 minus 1/2, which means this is denominator 0, so therefore this is undefined. So for number 37, you should have D as your answer choice. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, number 38. Number 38 is a difference quotient, a little bit of a connection to your calculus chapter 2. So you have f of x plus h minus f of x and all of this over h. We're assuming that h is not equal to 0. And so if they're giving you a function, which they are in this case, they're giving you x squared plus 7x plus minus 7. So f of x is equal to x squared plus 7x, oh my god, minus 4. What we need to find is f of x plus h. So that means that this becomes x plus h squared minus 7 times x plus h minus 4. And we need to solve for that. Okay. Now, if you still are having trouble with this, follow the yellow. Follow the yellow. Look at this formula. Notice that now that is squared instead of just x. Notice that instead of 7x, I have 7 times x plus h. That's how it changes. So that means that this becomes x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 7x minus 7h minus 4. Okay, all I did was distribute the 7 and FOIL this. Now, I'm only solving for the f of x plus h. That's what I'm solving for right now. That's it. So once I do that, I'm going to now bring in or fold in the negative f of x, which is a negative of all of this. So minus the x squared plus 7x minus 4. So all I did was literally transfer all of this in here. but it's now the negative of that. And all of this will be over h. So what happens? This becomes or remains x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 7x minus 7h minus 4 minus x squared minus 7x plus 4. So they all change signs here because all of these are going to multiply by -1. So what happens? Well, the x squares go away because these two are opposites. This -7x cancels with the positive 7x. The 4 will cancel with the 4. I'm sorry, this was a positive. I'm trying to find a mistake here. That's why this is still positive. My mistake. X squared 2xh. This is positive also well. This is positive as well. All right, so that makes sense. So that's why this cancels with this. The -4 cancels with the +4. Goodbye. And now we're left with, in this case, 2xh plus h squared plus 7h. Now remember, all of this is over h. I did not write the h here, but there's an h sitting here. This will cancel, this will reduce, and this will cancel. Your final answer should be 2x plus h plus 7. And that is your difference quotient, which should be, in this case, answer choice A for number 38. All right. And now we're looking at we have number 39. And number 39 is a very simple word problem. It says, suppose a car rental company charges $118 for the first day. So this is day 1. $118. And $68 for each additional, or I'm going to call it day X because we could have more than one day. $68 for each additional day or partial day. So let S of X represent the cost of renting a car for X days. Find the value of 5.5 days. So 5.5 days. Think about it. 5.5 days. This is where a lot of you get confused because we're going to take away day 1. Day 1, I'm getting charged 118. So I've got 4.5 days left, which in a sense is still going to be 68 times 5. So this is going to be plus 68 times 5. Because remember, the partial day is also equivalent to, okay, so we multiply. 68 times 5, which gives us 340, plus 118 should be 458. All right, let's see what our answer choices are. 458, B is your answer choice. All right, for C, it says use the given conditions to write an equation for the line in point slope form. So it has to pass through 7, 4, and 6, 2. So the first thing we do is label x1, y1, x2, y2. And we use our slope formula to find the slope. So we have 2 minus 4 over 6 minus 7. That's going to give us -2 over -1. -2 over -1, which is +2 for the slope. So whatever this is at the moment, this is going to be similar to y minus y1 is equal to the slope times x minus x1. So pick any point you can choose several points to choose from. And so in this case, you have to be careful which point they chose. So if they happen to choose the first point, which is they do. All right, so this will be, notice that they have, they just want you to leave it in the equation just as is. So this will become y minus 4 is equal to 2 parentheses, this will be x minus 7 if they choose this point. If instead they choose the second point, well, this will be y minus 2 equal to 2 times x minus 6, because they want it in this format. So they give you an or condition. They don't really tell you it's got to be one or the other. They actually give you both. All right.